Hello there. Abhijit Naskar is a neuroscientist, an author, and a tireless advocate for mental health and global harmony. He is somebody that's trying to make the world a better place. I bumped into Abhi on the internet and saw something he posted which really resonated with me, and I just thought, as I do sometimes, I wonder if he'd like to have a chat. And luckily he said yes, and I've just had the most beautiful conversation with him, really just letting him talk and tell me how he is trying to make the world a better place by understanding human behavior. He's spoken at so many events all around the world, so I feel very privileged that he's been here to take part in another super connected conversation.
The feelings coming through your fingertips. Don't slide for more. Don't slide for more.
It's also the lens, isn't it? It's the lens that we choose to look through, because some of us might look through a lens and see a life or a world that is full of just chaos and insanity or division, and another lens might show you it's a great time of hope, and
Yes.
and change is feels very tangible finally, and of course if you think that and have that optimism, there's also then the potential to be not as much of an activist as you should be, in the same way as when you see a negative world, that you might feel that you're not raising your spirit enough. It's very difficult now, isn't it? The way that we're looking, it really depends on the
So
perception.
why should we look through any lens? Why should we look in terms of dualities, in terms of binary? Why should we? We are all non-binary people, not in terms of gender, just in life. Life is non-binary. People have a tendency to look at the world in terms of binary. Either it is one thing or it is the other. Either it is good or it is bad. Either it is completely full of hope or there is no hope at all. But life is not that. Life is born in the womb of a cruel and spontaneous Mother Nature. She has been cruel like hell. You can't even imagine that cruelty. The beauty that we find in nature, behind the layer of that beauty, there's cruelty that you cannot even imagine. So that is nature. But then there comes this ray of hope called a human being. So human being is not just another life form. It carries within itself the hope for the future. But that doesn't mean that everything that is bad inside an animal, they are not there inside of us, because we are also animals. Every human is born an animal. We are just as animal as any other. The only difference is that we have the brain capacity. We have the brain capacity to conquer our animal nature. But there is this thing. Just because we have the capacity to conquer our animal nature does not mean that we actually practice that. Because that involves not giving into more gratification than we really need. That involves not giving into more selfishness that actually is needed for personal sustenance. So there comes accountability. There comes the action to conquer our animal nature. It is not looking through a lens of hope or hopelessness, either hopefulness or hopelessness. You are looking as a whole human being. What is holy? Holy doesn't mean magical stuff and doing rituals and all of those stuff, going to churches and lighting a candle. Holy means living as a whole human being, looking at humanity with their good side, as well as the possibility that every single individual holds within themselves. remove those lenses, throw away those lenses. We are wearing those lenses. That's why the people in politics, that's why the people in uh, these financial sectors, these companies, they can abuse those lenses that we are wearing. So they just use that loyalty to one lens. I'm wearing a Republican lens. I'm wearing a liberal lens. Every lens has their shortcomings. So why do we need to show our allegiance to these lenses? Why can't we just throw away these lenses and look at the world as a whole human being? We are living beings. We are alive. There is possibility for greatness, but there is also the possibility for cruelty, because and that possibility for cruelty, that capacity for cruelty actually comes to us more naturally, because every single animal, including the human being, has been cruel since they are born in this planet. They had to be cruel to survive, but we have severed that tie with nature. We have built ourselves a different society that is not relying so much deeply on nature. We have built ourselves a civilized society. So it is time that we actually conquer the uncivilized nature within us to be worthy of the title civilized. Otherwise, these loyalties, these lenses will continue to ruin the world for eternity. So we don't have to look in terms of duality. We don't have to look in terms of binary. We don't have to look in terms of religious, non-religious, believer, non-believer. We just have to look in terms of human. Everybody has different way of looking at things. Everybody has different way of living. Why can't we just accept the way they are? Just the way they are. Of course, that involves if there is an inhumanity, if there is some sort of atrocity, our accountability would compel us to stand up to this atrocity. But that is a question of if and when. All the other times, why can't we just accept people just the way they are? They need their religion, let them be. It's their behavior that counts. It's their behavior with other people. It's not their religious title. If they need their religion, who the hell am I to say that religion is a delusion? If they need their God, who the hell am I to say that believing in a God is a delusion? Everybody has different needs to survive. Everybody has different ways. They need different things. People are not machines. Machines can live a binary life. A computer can live solely on logic. But can you explain music in terms of logic? There's no logic to music.
No,
Yet I
although
cannot.
I sometimes use some computer programs that try to make it more logical. But no, the beauty of music, which is the longest, most successful relationship I've had, is with music, and yes, absolutely. There's no logic to it at all. I think that's why I love it so much.
Yes. So the point is, not everything that is civilized is logical, and not everything that is illogical is civilized. So we just have to conquer our own animal nature. We have to accept that we are born animals. There is these drives that make it very difficult to act as selfless creatures, as selfless beings, as kind beings. It comes easily to us to be selfish, to be all obsessed about the needs of the self, because that's animal survival is all about. But there is the question. It is animal survival. It is what animal survival is all about, not human survival. Human life should be the very epitome of selflessness. It should be the very epitome of accountability. Without it, we are just good looking animals.